Welcome back and welcome to Under Siege. We are in the middle of the ocean this time in a moving boat. So here we are on the USS Missouri on its way to Hawaii, and here we see Casey Ryback, the boat's cook, played by Steven Seagal. And here he is on his way to the captain's office for the menu for his birthday party, the captain's party. Here we see the other Navy members in this captain's office, one of them being Commander Krill, played by Gary Busey. Familiar actor, no entry needed for him. And here the captain's concerned about Chef Casey's attire, and he is supposed to be in the white Navy uniform. But the captain says it's okay for now, and Krill, being the jealous one, sees that Casey has exceptions, and you see this pretty often during the movie, this being one of them. Here we see some shots of the USS Missouri, and here we are looking at a TV screen. And here we see Chef Casey pouring some eggs onto the pan as he watches the Pearl Harbor dedication on TV, along with the other present crewmates helping him cook, with the former U.S. President George H.W. Bush giving a speech about the USS Missouri and wishing luck for its sailing to Oahu, Hawaii. Of course, produced by Steven Seagal and directed by Andrew Davis, who also directed Code of Silence from 1985 as well as The Fugitive from 1993. Here we see some Navy crewmates, and with the short guy showing his colleague one of the highlights of the captain's upcoming birthday party, which is a Miss July 89 Playboy model and stripper. Here we see Commander Krill again speaking to another shipmate, Krill giving him orders, but he says that Captain knows better, and he doesn't listen to Krill. But at least we now know that no one really likes Commander Krill. We are back in the USS Missouri kitchen, and here we see Cue Ball showing off his dance moves. One thing to notice is that Steven Seagal still talks like that in 2024 at 72 years old here. I mean, Mickey from Rocky, for example, sounds like a crazy old army veteran by the age of 69 in the first Rocky movie in 1976. What you do has your lifestyle, that's why you just don't really age as terribly as some people. So the redhead Navy shipmate arrives at the kitchen, instructing Chef Casey over here that him and his crew of chefs must leave soon for the captain's birthday party preparation.
That means I won't get to see you go through puberty.
So he leaves and the crew get back to work. Commander Krill goes back to the captain's office to tell him that his birthday party will be starting soon, that an unidentified helicopter is landing soon, as stated by the captain. So here's the helicopter with all the people involved from the captain's upcoming party, as well as Miss July 89 from the Playboy magazine. Back to the USS Missouri kitchen and see Chef Casey making his famous bouillabaisse, and Commander Krill walks in with the red-headed short Navy shipmate and some other shipmates, giving out orders that everyone must report to the mess deck right now. So Krill orders Casey stay standing, and of course presenting his jealousy by spitting into his food. And Casey is mad.
Come on, that's not striking, officer.
Krill orders the soldiers throw Casey inside the fridge. Now orders his Private Nash, who looks like he could be in those 1980s high school movies like Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He just has a look for it.
Yes, sir.
While the helicopter is now near the USS Missouri with the party people. And here we meet William Stranix, played by the famous Tommy Lee Jones. No need of an introduction for him as well, and Jordan Tate, or also known as Miss July 89, played by Erica Eleniak. They have now landed, and of course Krill has his eyes on Miss July 89. Every dude on the ship is staring, and that's what happens when you're joining the Army or the Navy, right? You have no females around you. So Private Nash keeping an eye on Casey and back to Krill with Miss July 89 and tells her to go to the boiler room, and here comes Stranix asking directions towards the mess hall. She feels sick and Krill offers her some medicine, which are sleeping pills, I think. So Jordan Tate is now in the boiler room and takes more than one pill. And we now see Willie Stranix performing, but that's not the main reason why he's on the USS Missouri, as you will see in a few moments. And we see all of the other guys surrounding the Navy as Stranix is singing. Casey's now trying to break free, and Private Nash still being a dumbass, now listening to him, especially about the food being burnt. Entering the engine room now, we see the so-called servers offering the engine workers some appetizers, and back to the mess hall with Stranix and Commander Krill, with Krill coming in with the most goofiest costume ever. They think they're real. Krill's now leaving with his waiter, and we see one of Casey's kitchen crew members wondering where he is. The rest of the food is now burning, and with Nash still being an idiot, he checks on it. Finally, and back to the mess hall with Willie Stranix and Krill at the captain's office waiting to go in.
Jumpy Store's probably my favorite actor.
These guys are having fun, and now Stranix is done and is asking for the highest ranking officer to come to the front and shoots him. And of course, it's a trap, raid, setup, whatever you want to call it, taking over the USS Missouri. And all these waiters are part of it, of course, except for Jordan Tate, Miss July 89. Since she already fell asleep by now in the boiler room after taking those pills provided by Krill. The captain hears gunshots and Krill kills him. Casey now hears gunfire and Private Nash being stupid once again. The servers in the engine room take the engine workers out. All of the Navy SEALs on the USS Missouri are now being taken to the storage department of the ship, but one guy decides to be a hero. The remaining Navy SEALs are either getting killed or getting taken to the storage unit. The ones from the outside of the USS Missouri, and Krill opens the captain's safe to see what he's hiding in there all this time. So Krill finds a letter written by the captain saying that Krill is crazy.
Do I look like I need a psychological evaluation?
Not at all.
Taking over the main deck and the mainframe of the USS Missouri, looking at the ship's valuable spots. Now back to the kitchen, Nash checking in on Casey this time by opening the fridge, finally, as he tells Nash that something's wrong on the ship. So this guy tells Stranix and Krill that Nash is still watching Casey Ryback in the kitchen. Krill calls into the kitchen and Nash tells Krill that he heard gunshots, but Stranix tells Krill to send someone to relieve Nash.
We heard something what sounded like gunshots.
Huh?
But, that means to kill him. And Casey as well, to kill him as well. So back in the kitchen, two shooters come into the kitchen and, of course, kill Private Nash. Idiot. And now open the fridge door to check in on Casey. So he finally escapes the fridge, turns off the kitchen lights, and grabs a knife he threw at the dartboard earlier and kills the two shooters. Then makes a detonator and puts it in this microwave. Now back to the ship's mainframe, and these tech guys have noticed that there's a fighter jet now making its way to the USS Missouri's vicinity. Casey now has his gun and checks in on the captain's office and is now thinking of giving a proper burial for later, which is the ending of the movie. The fighter jet is nearby to the USS Missouri and is now destroyed. Next scene, we are at an army base, and I'm guessing in Hawaii, since that is where the USS Missouri is headed initially, and we see this suspicious-looking guy played by Nick Mancuso, an actor Steven Seagal thought was heavily underrated while making Under Siege, as well as Admiral Bates, played by Andy Romano, but he does come back in Under Siege 2 Dark Territory. So they know that the USS Missouri is in an irregular position right now, and Stranix calls in from the ship and speaks to the officials here with Admiral Bates. And Stranix tells Bates that he has fully taken over the USS Missouri by proving he has special code. Stranix's motive of taking over the USS Missouri is to show that he's better and crazier than Commander Krill, and that he is a former Navy SEAL. Casey and everyone trapped in storage have heard that a missile or a Tomahawk has been fired and is now headed towards some base, again, somewhere in Hawaii, maybe in Oahu.
Bang, you're dead.
And looks like he also watched Charles Bronson Mechanic as well. They call up the president. Stranix and Krill are now walking around the ship, only to listen that the crew is hitting the storage wall as a call for help. And Casey is under the floorboards and making his way to the mess hall, only to see dead bodies in a mess. Casey pushes a cake, which really woke her up. Casey takes Jordan Tate to the boiler room and asks her a bunch of questions about the guys who came in from the helicopter.
Just a cook.
A cook?
A cook? I'm a cook.
So back to the army base, everyone is still discussing about the USS Missouri's dangerous position as of right now, and Admiral Bates noticed that Stranix has sunk some North Korean submarine in the past, and that his private army was financed by Nick Mancuso over here the entire time. I don't know why. So back to the ship, Casey stuffs Jordan Tate inside the locker and fits in well since she's super short.
Be quiet.
I hate being alone.
And wants to come with her. And Casey teaches her all about guns and how to use them and what to do with them, blah, blah, blah. Stranix and Krill are now in the kitchen to see if Casey is still there. Turning on the lights and only to see that he's gone, and the detonator from the microwave is now active. Stranix orders Krill to find Casey Ryback's personnel file. Back to the ship's mainframe with Krill coming back with Casey's file, only to know that his file was in the captain's safe and that he is a former professional Navy SEAL. So we see Casey and Jordan again somewhere on the ship as he tries to find something to contact the base for Admiral Bates. So Bates now gets a note that Casey Ryback is on the USS Missouri this entire time, and now they have him in the air. Casey tells the officials that Stranix is stealing tomahawks, and Admiral Bates is shocked that Krill is also included in this. So Bates tells Casey to call back in 30 minutes for an update. Casey and Jordan are now outside on the ship as he runs around and stabs his can of paint thinner to cause an explosion, and the guards notice someone is on deck. And the two guards have caught Jordan Tate, and Casey shoots back, and the two run back inside with another booby trap. So, Krill's next plan to prevent Casey for furthering his journey to releasing of all the Navy SEALs trapped inside the USS Missouri's storage unit is to drown them.
They never liked me anyway.
But Casey and Jordan are back in the hall somewhere on the ship and hear a Morse code call for help, and grabs his thermal lance and pops open the door to see the remaining crewmates are there and instructs them to get to work.
Nice to see you. You too, Case.
Casey and the guys are unwiring the computers connecting to the mainframe to disable all the weapon systems and anything that has to do with the Tomahawk connection and all that.
This is Captain Krill speaking.
Krill calls him to tell Casey to stop whatever he's doing, and if he doesn't, one shipmate will get killed and the rest will drown. Now the team is off to work to keep Stranix away from launching the Tomahawks towards Oahu, since that is Stranix's goal and the private army he has with him. One of the Navy members gets hurt, and now the anchor is released to keep the USS Missouri in place so that Krill easily escape by leaving Casey and his crew, and the crew trapped inside the storage are drowning to suffer.
Who in the hell is this?
Who in the hell is this?
So Admiral Bates calls in and Jordan picks up to know what Casey is doing since he didn't call back in those 30 minutes where he's supposed to. Casey now picks up and Bates tells him that SEAL Team 5 are en route towards the USS Missouri. So Jordan follows Casey around. The two now run upstairs. SEAL Team 5 are en route from a helicopter towards the USS Missouri, and now further unwiring the mainframe's weapon systems are now not working with Stranix's guys operating it. People on YouTube found this gun reload to be quite funny.
Here come the good guys.
So SEAL Team 5 are getting ready to land with one of Stranix's guys, pulls out a rocket launcher and blows them up. Krill and Stranix notice what Casey has done, and now Casey is somewhere on the ship with Jordan making his own missile or whatever, boiling shit, mixing chemical like liquids and putting things together using tools. Meanwhile, Stranix's guys are putting whatever missiles are left into the cannons that was already on the ship. Casey is now ready to go and is going towards underwater, but Stranix's guys have spotted him, and one of the guys hits him with this mini anchor, and now he has a bruise on his back, climbs back up, and to see Dahmer, Stranix's right-hand man, has cornered him. And Jordan saves Casey. Krill's pissed off that Casey Ryback has escaped and tries to communicate with his Italian soldier.
Why can't you speak English?
The tech guy Wiz here is stressed out that none of the computers are working in the mainframe and gives up easily, but Stranix gives him some motivation.
Give me a little more time, I'll figure it out.
I like your attitude.
So Casey's team makes it to the main deck of the USS Missouri to see that Krill and some of Stranix's other guys have escaped onto the alternative ship. Casey's only solution is to use whatever is left on the USS Missouri to blow up Krill's escape. The tech guy got everything up and running again. Casey and the guys are getting ready to use the artillery on the ship, instructing the guys what to do. So they missed the first time and have managed to blow up Krill this time. For good. Stranix is still on the USS Missouri, by the way, and is having the weirdest reaction to it. Casey and the crew are thrilled that Krill is dead. Stranix has fired 2 missiles, or tomahawks, that are both headed towards Honolulu, Hawaii, and Bates and the others now know. So Nick Mancuso and this other guy just look even more suspicious, even though they have no, connection to the what's happening to the story. So 2 fighter jets are on the way, while Casey and the other guys are looking around trying to kill the rest of Stranix's army, as they're still on the USS Missouri. And now we are in the final minutes of Under Siege, the fight scene between Steven Seagal and Tommy Lee Jones.
Quietly.
Now Ryback notices that Stranix is an old Navy SEAL himself and remembers him from the past, back when Casey was a Navy SEAL himself.
Keep your face, Stranix.
And there goes good old Willie Stranix. The missiles are on their way, or tomahawks are on the way to Honolulu. One of them blows up randomly, while the other one is still up and flying, as Casey has Admiral Bates back on the line as his officials, and inputs the code to stop the second missile, or tomahawk, and blows up by inputting the code. Everyone is happy that the tomahawks have stopped, and we see everyone in joy except Nick Mancuso over here, looking like he's still suspicious, and just walks away smoking, even though he had no connection to the story. All of the Navy SEALs are now free from storage, and Casey is still injured, and now kisses Jordan Tate.
Case, show me a move.
And the USS Missouri is now still floating, and we see Casey Ryback in uniform giving the captain a proper funeral and a burial. That's it. Under Siege from 1992. Pretty similar to Die Hard from 1988. Still talks like that, by the way, in 2024. Like I said earlier, even in the other movies he's done after 2003. He just has that, way of talking. One of the few movies where he didn't have his iconic ponytail. Don't care what anyone says, Seagal's movies are just fun to watch. But yeah, I'll see you soon in Code of Silence from 1985 with Chuck Norris. One of the few movies I actually like of his. But like, comment, and subscribe. Take care. See you soon in the next episode, and watch away.